So, when you leave a comment and like and share it, it really helps my channel out. But most importantly, it, inspires me to want to keep creating content. All right, welcome back. Look at the beautiful hollyhocks blooming now. Today I'm doing the second half of my July garden tour. It's going to be of the initial food forest area. This will be the 6th year, as well as the south end veg plot. So more and more my gardens are just becoming mixed with perennials and annuals and trees and guilds, hugels, swales. There's a couple little greenhouses to show you, and we'll have some fun, some tips along the way. Let's go for it. Raspberries along here, just picked them yesterday, a couple different varieties. Blueberries here on the end of the raspberries. This is Areca, doing pretty good. Right here, some dwarf sour cherries. They're on their own rootstock there, and no worms this year. So that's why I got some black plastic down there to help break the cycle. Hopefully that worked. So yeah, stoked about that. Need to harvest these. All right, just kind of got a slew of stuff here. This little bed is different this year. Used to have a big stack of lumber here. Got all this bark along there to keep the moisture in the bed. Works really well from your firewood, So I've been laying that on the ground. And just a bunch of flowers and the amaranth. Volunteer peas, I'm leaving those for seeds now. I put these hollyhocks here in the spring, and I'm quite happy with that. Petunias, peppers, beans. Not too many beans came up. Some jalapeno peppers there. I've got a hybrid broccoli here that I left the main head to go to seed because I want to start seeing if I can stabilize this variety. Some green amaranth in here and some straw flowers. That one's gonna bloom. Cage of tomatoes. One of them actually died, but I had like 5 in there, I think. A specialty chamomile. This just came back. This is evening primrose. Parsley in there. Guam red dragon. I planted these all over. I started them from seed last year. And the lettuces are going to seed. They're very acclimatized to my property now, this variety, and they just keep coming back on their own. And look at that, the zinnias are blooming. Yahoo! There's a climbing zucchini. They're pretty cool. I hadn't seen these until recently, this variety, so this is my only one that made it through. And look at that, they're not getting pollinated like that one is going to be. And so make sure to save seed. Some brandywines here. They're just starting to, they're barely taking off. They're growing, but oh, look at that. Some of the first cherry tomatoes. Pretty late. It's a butterfly bush. Let's go in here. So this little spring greenhouse here is where I start all my seedlings in the early spring because it backs the house here, and I can keep it really warm and cozy in here for them. And yeah, a bunch of things died this spring, like I was saying. They were in here, this warm environment, and they had bad manure in their potted up containers. I'm gonna shut up about that now because so many things died. But these ones pulled through, and it's been so hot in here though that things are not growing too well, especially up here. These peppers are having a hard time setting new fruits. There's a few fruits on them. And oh, look at that though. See? They're getting scorched. So that's bad. Oh, what a bummer. See, they're trying to set more flowers, but it's actually too hot. I have these bamboo shades over top because it's just over 100 degrees in here. And so I got to keep these on, but then I feel like they're not getting enough intensity light. It's just too hot and it's a little bit too shaded. So I feel like they're elongating a bit, which is kind of a bummer. And I don't always slide them off when the sun kind of goes down, so they get, they get a good amount of light right now, and it's not direct sunlight. But anywho, these ones are doing all right. Tibetan Lhasa, I think they are, and some other varieties down here. Look at that, Corno di Toro, and some asters in here. Basil's looking good, and these peppers are looking good. I didn't put rings on them yet though. Got my rings on here. These peppers are doing all right. These are the Anto High. Love this variety. But they were like, again, these were so stunted. Like I started these early and like they're just like coming around and starting to take off now. It's just crazy. A couple watermelons there. We'll see if I get any melons this year. And some cantaloupe varieties down here that I don't think I'm gonna bother stringing up. I don't know if they're gonna even make it. I'm probably just gonna let them sprawl all over. I get a little bit tired sometimes, so just gonna let things go. I got some tomatoes in the back there, a couple brandy wines. Usually I got the fans on in here. Cabbages are looking pretty good. Got a few little straggler peppers. I planted melons along here early spring. Thought I was gonna have a big melon crop. They all died. Well, I did put bad manure in here, but I've got these eggplants. I thought I'd give it another try, and I started these early too, and look at that one's coming around, but they're still like struggling. Cabbages are looking good. Got asparagus in that bed too. Hey, this is a ginger here. Some cinnamon basil here. And so that's about it for in there. This is a new plant. I've got 2 of them. The only ones that came up. I might as well show you the other greenhouse first. Got my cukes in here that are pretty far behind. Last year at this time we were like in full production for sure. Basil's doing good. I did this tarp here because there was signs of mites. That was one reason. Also just to try to keep moisture in. And some of these cukes took so long to come around. Oh, look at that. This is a new variety. It's called Garden Sweet. It looks more like a pickler. Maybe I got them confused though. I might have got some mixed up. There's a good chance of that. I just keep winding these on the strings here. Sometimes though they just make smaller ones at first if they're trying to get going. Picked off the flowers before. Suyo Long and then Garden Sweet, Suyo Long, Garden Sweet. Yeah, there's some coming. There's one. It'll be ready in couple of days. And I got stevia planted on the inside here. Finally, these are just starting to like take off the end of July, which is kind of crazy. White plastic there and this bamboo blind is way too hot. We're in it's like a total scorch. Some nice peppers in there. And got a little dryer here. Got some basil in there. I think it's a really ideal place to plant a tomato in a deep wicking barrel like that you can bury really deep. Look at the fresh sweet basil. Petunias are started from seed this year. First time growing these without, purchasing them. I've got a couple watermelons in here. Let's just turn this water off. A little noisy. A couple watermelons that actually, yeah, we'll see. They're getting long. They are flowering. We'll see. It's what's left of the watermelons that I started. Some eggplants that, same thing, finally came around. Some peas that are finishing off here. Some Sugar Crisp peas. This is the wondrous Asian pear. It's done so well for me. Pretty much consistently my best tree. It's just started producing like 2 years in, and just ever since. This will be the 3rd or 4th year, with I think 4th now, with a really good crop. And we got kind of a nice little random guild under here. I did winecap mycelium, King Stropharia spawn down in here. Hopefully I'm keeping it wet enough. I haven't seen too much under here, but look at all the random plants, lots of volunteers and some things I planted. Just threw in a couple celeries. Hey, they're doing all right. Different amaranths and cosmos, and kale came back, and poppies, and I think it's maybe a radish or something. And the carrots, beautiful carrots. Blackberries coming over here. I'm gonna dig all these blackberries out. Thornless blackberries, really good varieties to them. I'm gonna plant up my new hugelkultur development area you saw in the last video. Another big cage of cherry tomatoes and poppies and lettuce, straw flowers around the outside. These Cabbages are an early variety, but I planted them quite late. Yeah, they're doing quite well. I think they're just starting to do their heading up now. Planted some new peas in here. Oh, I haven't got a trellis up for them. Oh, it's almost late. Shoot. See if that, whoa, just noticed these broccolis. Gotta keep those picked. Lettuce is growing a seed. Those are gonna be nice seeds. Yeah, so all these fava beans here are done. And I was super impressed with this variety. I planted them in 2 places. They didn't need any support. They finally fell down, but they are totally finished. I was eating a couple the other day. They finally did fall down after I had the sprinkler on here for a while. But look at that crop. There's a lot in here. And about a week ago now, man, has it been a week? I think it has. I cut cauliflower out of here. Some really nice heads. I'll show you that harvest. All right, that leaves a little more light and space for my beets to mature up a little bit more. Beans are just looking incredible. Let's pull one. Oh, not bad. It's a nice beet. Dotted in some late extra peppers here. I don't know if they'll do anything. Beautiful bellflowers, super vigorous. And some amaranth. And also had cauliflower in this bed here. Orac. Wow, it's going to seed, yay. All these volunteer carrots are just going to seed. Beautiful. More snowball. That's a decent cauliflower there for a quick maturing variety, early snowball. I'll probably make some pretty good seed. These are such a beautiful color. So many carrots going to seed. Yes, and the king apple here is actually producing decently. A number of them. It's not full, but there's quite a few apples. Now that you see behind here, I think my peach tree actually really bit the dust. It's multiple leads, my peach, and I pruned all the tops, and she really didn't like that, and only came back just a little bit of green growth early spring, and now it's shriveling up and looks like potentially she's gone. It produced amazingly for 2 years. Same with a really hardy plum tree behind her. I think she's gone as well too. Anyways, it's been giving this apple more sunlight now, so she's producing, which is nice. We have a new peach tree here. This is a donut galaxy peach, a white peach, flat peach. Didn't have quite the structure I wanted and had to prune off a certain branch or two. Some liatris in this guild here. Started these from seed a couple years ago. And we got some, what do we got here? We have some tomatoes. These are Polish linguiça, along with some beans. It's funny, the onions here didn't really turn out. They kind of like, they didn't get enough water, I don't think. Anyways, I've got some beans here as well as kind of a backup crop with the tomatoes. They also help fix some nitrogen for the tomatoes. These are some leeks from last year just in here. And so I'm planting some things in front of beds or leaving them. These are from last year. And I left them on purpose to create that little bit of shade to, get other crops going. Look at that, beautiful. I can collect some seed. Look at that, things are just getting overgrown. And I've got one fennel that actually overwintered and came back. So that's pretty neat. I've never had fennel come back in this climate. Yeah, the strawberry hydrangeas blooming real soon. They take a while, but it's a gorgeous prime hydrangea. Love how it goes sprawling like that. Some collards are doing good in here. Need to harvest some of these. It really is the year of the overgrown in the food forest here. It's just, I can't quite manage it anymore. I need a lot more wood chips to do, new cardboard layer and wood chips. But it's beautiful like this as well. Got loganberries that are like a ground cover pretty much. the lemon balm spreads, these nettles here, stinging nettles. I don't necessarily want them in here, but for now it's kind of cool. So everything is just really grown in and kind of falling over. There's rhubarb. Ah, yes, the pear here, the Anjou pear. I'm actually gonna get a few pears off of her. Yeah, first year fruiting. She attempted to last year. She set some flowers, but didn't hold any fruit. And this year she's holding some fruit. So this is her 6th year. Most of these trees, except that one Galaxy Peach, the rest of them are, this will be their 6th year in the garden here. The mulleins are pretty beautiful. Hydrangea, volunteer raspberries. They're a little small, they didn't get enough water. So it'd be an Anne raspberry, golden Anne. It's looking a little dry back here. Got some tomatoes in this trellis. Early spring I kind of dug down here, dug this swale down a bit more. A lot of water comes in the spring. There's like a waterway or a big swale in there with a rock wall behind. Pretty hard to see now, it's so grown in. Lilacs, hydrangeas. This is a big hugelkultur along here. It really needs to be revamped or just covered potentially. Blueberries, hey, here's a couple. Missed these broccolis. Well, these are good shoots. So I think it's a sprouting variety back here. Got some sun golds planted here. They're starting to come around. Look at the mulleins. And Italian plum tree. She had such intense aphids this year. It was just so out of hand. I took a bunch of leaves off first, and then I came back, and the stems here of the plum were filling up like that. So it was just like thick, covered. And so it was kind of coming and smushing all that like that to try to save some, but otherwise they were just gonna like suck all the moisture and food out, and they were just gonna drop. You can see, look at all of those, right? Surprised that didn't happen to all of them. I hope some of them make it. Now that it's dry and warm, quite a few that look pretty decent, and I don't see any more aphids. They don't like the dry, hot heat. Oh, I could use a little more water back here. Oh, these are flags, so gorgeous in the spring. Rhubarb, great chop and drop to have under your fruit trees if you don't eat it too much. Very high in oxalic acid. Not the best to be eating rhubarb, too much of it. It's nice if you want a little bit, sure, why not? Rhubarb strawberry pie, pretty darn tasty. Yeah, look at all this hyssop right here. And the foxgloves are finished. Those will make some nice seeds. I'll scatter around. I really need some water in here. And we got a bunch more of these Guam red dragon in here. And some coreopsis. Perennial flower started a year before last. Got a blueberry bush in here. It's looking a little bit yellow. Some berries on her though. And we have some Welsh perennial onion in here. There's the fireweed. I'm just letting go now. I quite like it. It's edible too. All these onions in here. Stinging nettles are going to seed. They're pretty huge. And the loganberries are, like I said, just on the ground here. Not quite ready, but they're coming in. I'm gonna end up moving these two. I guess I thought this year was gonna be a bit of a revamp in here, but it's kind of fun like this. It's a little bit hard to move around in. Yeah, quite a few apples here on the king apple, and quite a few strawberries in here, but I did miss most of these. Quite a patch in there. The bee balm is a blooming, rose campion, black currant, just starting to go. I do need to give my food forest a little more water. It's pretty good to start with in the spring because it fills and seeps through this whole area in the spring. That's why I've got all my trees up on higher beds. The pastel yarrow and astilbes. What a gorgeous combination that is. And some rose campion here. It's kind of fallen down though. Some volunteer raspberries. When the catnip goes, that goes to seed. I try to pull those out before they actually go to seed. I don't mind leaving them for a while. But wow, look at this. That's so beautiful. Oh, my peach tree. This was taking up so much. Like when it leafed out, it just really filled this whole space in so nicely. But you can see all the gorgeous flowers having a chance at the sunlight now. The pansies really came back strong this year. It's so beautiful, this whole area here. The actual plant itself comes back, and then they also reseed. They cross and they become a little bit smaller, like the Johnny Jump Up as the time goes on. But I still get like burgundy varieties and just all different varieties that they haven't totally all crossed and shrunk into little Johnny Jump Ups. And delphiniums. Let's come out this way. There's a beautiful little guild here. The Monarda, or the bee balm, same thing. All this liatris is gonna start to open soon. Hollyhocks, they get around. This is my Firebright Nectarine, and I have yet to get a harvest off of her. Garlic, and I can see carrots. I think this Monarda planted itself here. It's once you start getting enough fertility just on the ground everywhere from all the wood chips, things just start seeding and growing everywhere, which is quite beautiful. But you can see how many weeds, but it's gorgeous, but it's all filled in. Some things I don't necessarily want in here, like the wide leaf plantain and grass, and some things take over, but if there's enough of everything, it kind of does balance out in some ways too. This plum tree had a problem in the spring. Amazing, incredible fragrance and just chock full of flowers, and then it got this dry rot, which I've seen signs of it every year, and just killed off everything, all the flowers. And so nothing's set, but now it always does kind of pop back. Like, they're pretty vigorous in general, plums. That's why I'm kind of shocked that my black ice plum looks like it's dead. And I did prune it, but I've pruned it harder in the past, and it came back, I guess, just a really mild year, and I don't know, it's a bummer. So 2 trees here have died on me now. A whole bunch of lilies, though, are gonna kind of fill this place in. Perennial lilies. Soon they'll be blooming. There's a lot of different flowers in here that come and go, and yellow daylilies, painted daisies, a new red, orangey, yellow daisies in there. Started these from seed. Red hot poker. Just on the outside of this greenhouse here, I've planted zucchinis in a tarp because I edged this whole area, and I took a ton of sod out of that garden where I got some corn, and I just piled it up here, and then I tarped it, and then I cut holes in my tarp and planted these zucchinis, and they've taken a while. Just starting to eat the first zooks now. It's kind of ridiculous. Some years is much earlier, but they are doing quite good here. And then I've got 2 bush delicatas as well. Wow, that's pretty chock full. Before we do the south end plot just there, I'm going to just show you the rest of the food forest and little water area here. Ooh, hummingbirds, you can hear them. Here there's lots of water-loving plants like the hostas, and well, they do well close to water. And flags, bulbs do pretty good. Some in more water area. This is a swale here that I got dammed off for the spring. Right now it's pretty dry. Moisture does collect if it does ever rain. It winds down that way. The hollyhocks have self-seeded in this location. Some beautiful colored ones. That's quite a vibrant pinky orange. The echinacea is coming up, and this will be its 4th or 4th year, I think. So I definitely can start harvesting. Some of these have been falling down though. I had the sprinkler on in here earlier. My pear tree here, Flemish Beauty, and I wouldn't really recommend this variety. You can see disease on it, and they're kind of known to be not very disease resistant, I suppose. So it's looking pretty good in general, the tree structure and everything. We'll see. We'll give it another couple years, and then if not, I guess I'll maybe plant something beside it. All this pastel yarrow I put in here. Astilbes. I just leave it on a little trickle, and yeah, just to keep the water moving. There's a piece of bamboo there. Comes out of the rock. Some elephant ears up there. That is a dogwood that just naturally came there. They're quite beautiful. They make nice flowers, so it's a great native to have. Dwarf maple there, and roses, wild blackcap raspberries. Wow. Look at those. I love the flavor of these. I just been letting them propagate. Whoa, there's tons. There's a whole bunch up there. Usually they're right over there as well. Wow. So I did this little reno here mid-winter because there was no snow. I think it was January, mid-January. Dropped this little tank in there for another little pond and put some pond liner over there and rocks on top just so this would overflow into the second little pond here. There is a drain actually in there that it's kind of seeping out at this point. I should plug it, that way it would overflow. Right now it's just kind of seeping in underneath it, I think. But I like it when this area here, it fills up with water and then drains down a bit. Before it was really feeding my peach tree there so nicely. It works so well. Just depending on how far I can get it to go down the swale. I have the swale winding here to feed most of my trees here. Especially in the spring, there's quite a lot of water, but this trickle here, and when it rains, it fills up in here with a bit of water. But white strawberry here has some Crocosmia. There's just a couple right here. I didn't think they were going to come up, so I planted a bunch of other stuff in here, and it's kind of taking over. Oh yeah, there's a few. I think maybe they'll bloom next year. These roses are quite nice. Gotta keep deadheading though the roses if you want them to keep blooming. This variety, or most roses, just keep blooming as long as you take the old buds off. It smells wonderful, this rose. Got a little trail here that I will connect to the hugelkultur terrace over there at some point. And love to have an outdoor kitchen somewhere in the bank there once the trailer is gonzo at some point, and just lots of nice garden there, or a big hoop house or something. So there you can see my little food forest area here. It's really not all that big. So real recently we've had some fires just strike up instantly out of nowhere, and there was about a 15-minute storm. I happened to be driving in it. It's been like hot blue sky, like pure blue, and then a 15-minute storm, and then all these fires started. Pretty weird, and now it's just like hot weather again. Anyways, you had a fire just like on my mountain here, pretty darn close. That was freaky. It just got put out a couple days ago. Such a dense planting of fruit trees and plants and flowers and shrubs and everything here. I think it does help filter the air, and so yeah, that's kind of cool. My sister was over today and she thought she noticed that as well, and I was feeling that when it was like really smoky out earlier a couple days ago. Got a blueberry here. Not doing too well. I don't know if it just got really dry. I'm surprised it did, but it looks like it's scorched and no berries this year. This is a really old Brigitta. This ground cover is doing well here, but she does have some new growth down there, so I think maybe she just got too dry. Got my owl carving out here. Beautiful rose. More blackcap raspberries. Look at them all. Wow. This is a wild variety with the bluebells. Wow, yeah, look at these blackberries. Blackcap raspberries. Amazing. So many. Really doing good this year. what's really cool? I've got all these ferns that just started growing out of here. The seed was there. They didn't come out for a few years after I built this whole rock walls here. Machine did the lower parts, the big ones, and then I hand stacked almost all of it. Just loving these ferns here. Ah, yeah, I planted, whoa, more black apparazes. Wow, they're taking off. They're pretty awesome. I planted a catalpa tree here. Started some of these by seed. So I've got a few more in my nursery, but I got one planted. Here's my beautiful, this apple tree is doing really well. It's a fresh eating variety. They don't really store, they're quite soft, but they're pretty good. They don't get all that large either. They're a nice medium-sized apple, but very adapted to the climate, and it does really well every year. Look at this, just side branch. There's so many on here. So these little ones, they actually will fall off. And so that kind of self-thins to some degree, but I'm just going and taking all the small ones off. See, this whole tip isn't really developing. I'll probably just take all those off since there's some big ones right here. Take that one off. 3 nice ones there. Real nice big one there. Take those little ones off. Hey, what's that? Dog vomit stuff. Some kind of fungal thing going on. Ah, the perennial rocket. Look at it. That's good eating still. This guild here is irises and delphinium and potatoes and some lettuce. This lettuce under here is still good. This is summertime, I think, or an iceberg type. I think it's still good. Yep. Yep. And I'm just doing a little glue up there, rather the second glue up. Bathroom, like a vanity countertop. Big cedar planks from an old deck that I ripped down. Here's my little nursery. Some porcelain berries. They're still waiting to find their place. And one of these puff trees, smoke bush or smoke tree, I think it might be called actually. And there's my catalpas. I got more catalpa trees in here. I'd really love to get these out. And ooh, a little red currant. Making berries and some yostaberries and some lilacs and some honeysuckle. And oh, I think my oak tree might have died. Shoot. Yeah, so, oh yeah, more stilbies. This is a domesticated daisy. They're a little bit bigger and plump. And this is where my waterway or swale comes down through here. This is a volunteer rose, the wild type. The thorns are deadly on her. Quite nice though, and it's making really good rose hips. So this is a good food crop, a tea, a vitamin C. So I'm welcoming it. I'm just gonna keep her pruned back a bit. Sand cherry here. And it's really beautiful. It's finally getting some size. Parsnips certainly get around. The tomatillos. Hey, I got some tomatillos. Double-stemmed magnolia. The gooseberry in here. Just put that in early spring from my nursery there. I'm still trying to do this air layering here. It's been on here really long, a few years, and I did a couple, but I'm just leaving this one on. I feel like eventually it's got a root. Eventually got a root, don't you, buddy? I've got another one, the bee balm. This is a new, it's second year being planted here, ambrosia apple. This is actually a hugelhulcher pit in here. Lines here, got some flex-seeded corn.
Reflections of the clouds above, the sound of rain along the pond. The grass that grows beneath my feet, I close my eyes, the hum of bees. The flower violet green, lily of the valley on my knees. All the things
green beans and volunteer sunflowers. Super stocky and healthy because I did compost trenches in here late fall.
It's too soon. I don't wanna.
It's like totally gone. That worked better than I imagined.
It's too
Just adding it so late in the season. See, there's some squashes are doing okay. They're planted late. They're starting to take off a little bit now, but you'll see how many fruits they actually make in time. Third week in July already. A lot of things just seem so late in so many ways. Some candy roaster squash, they're starting to take off. That one made it up the trellis there. I've got 3 jumbo raw heart red tomatoes in there. Volunteer potatoes too, just dotted in here. They left, and the garlic. Corn is doing amazing. These are transplants from Tree Plug Flats, and they really took off quick. And make sure these holes are deep enough. I think that's deep, plenty deep. Okay, good. I want them to push in to there, over the secondary roots.
I don't wanna lose you.
And this side we've got the nut butter. It's a small variety of butternut. They're 90 days. And a hybrid broccoli here, which I harvested the heads about a week ago. The stevia, they actually accidentally covered up with a straw. I just did all the straw mulching the other day. Stevia in between my broccoli there. I'm trying to keep all the runners growing up here, and somewhat they can go out that way if they like. But look, some little fruits there, little nut butters. So I'm excited about these guys. The corn, I just did a top dressing of some organic fertilizers. And all this straw I just got because I complained about my bad manure, and he gave me an 18 bales of straw on the house, which was nice. Amaranth, a few things, new carrot bed, needs thinning still, they're gonna be late. And this wonderful trellis of peas here, these are shelling. I just harvested them yesterday. And there's probably another small harvest maybe, but it is getting very hot. Well, it's been hot for a while, so peas don't like the hot weather. But there'll be a couple more to grab off of there. The mint never cut this patch. It's beautiful when it blooms though. So beauty. In the celery, I had some really nice cauliflowers that I cut out of here. There's a pretty good one. Looks all right. Let's start processing some of this. Volunteer potatoes are all around. Love the volley potatoes. The volley tades. I think that's about it. Beautiful sunflowers. I hope you enjoyed that tour. Remember, keep your heart inspired, and we will see you on the next one. But to be honest, I've been struggling creating videos. They just take so much time, and so you might see a less edited style. So it's a lot of time to be spending in general to be making nothing. I mean, it's a love, it's a passion, but at some point, and I think I'm at that point now, it's kind of like, well, I've done it for a while. I need to be, generating more income. If I'm going to take time out from doing other things that I could be making a lot of money from to do this, then I kind of need to balance it out. It's really nice if you do comment on a video. It keeps the energy going, keeps me inspired to hear from my viewers. Thanks so much. Appreciate you all, and we'll see you again on the next one.
When I look deep into your eyes, when I'll be coming home.